Well, good morning and welcome to CityLine. It is truly wonderful to be in your home this morning. We are live every Thursday morning, and this morning is March 21st, the second day of spring. Oh my goodness, I was just talking with our guests. I don't think I can ever remember a more beautiful spring day than yesterday. And our hour coming up has lots of things that you can do to celebrate spring. Later on, we'll be speaking with the VITA, which stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. It is that time of year again. April is right around the corner, so there is some free tax assistance out there for those of you who need it. And then Downtown on the Go is here to talk about the Walk Tacoma kickoff. And again, it's that great weather, so they have a kickoff to Walk Tacoma that is family friendly. So we have some great details from Megan and Tanya, and they'll be here later on the hour to chat about that. Tacoma Historical Society is in the house to talk about what's coming up and their organization. They have a lot of things on the horizon, so I'm going to definitely recommend that you do some pencil and paper for that event. And then the Dome District update. The Dome is our hub. It is always moving and shaking and changing, and we have three people who are here today to talk about the current updates and what their thoughts are on it. So please join me in welcoming Ian Munce. You are a City of Tacoma Urban Planner. Welcome, my dear.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. And you just told me before the camera went on that you grew up in Belfast. Well, that's a totally different show, but I'm making a mental note to have you back on for that. That's fascinating. And then with you, of course, is Rebecca Japhet. You are the Pierce Transit Communication Managers. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to see you. And this woman who I have admired for the past 8 years, this is the first time I've had the pleasure of seeing you in person. PJ Hummel, welcome.
Thank you.
You are the Dome District Vice President, and if people don't know you, PJ Hummel Productions is, to me, one of the premier event decorator and planners. You stretch all up and down and across Washington State, so it's so great to meet the creative muse because you are quite fabulous at what you do, my dear.
Thank you.
All right, so Ian, let's chit chat here. The Dome is, District Dome is obviously changing. And tell us what the City of Tacoma's goals are for that area so we kind of get an idea based upon what the goals are and what we see.
So I think it's fair to say that the Tacoma Dome area is the most transit-rich center in Washington.
Well said.
With with commuter rail, inter-county bus, and all the local bus service, and then Tacoma Link. So, when we started working with the community 4 years ago and updating the planning and zoning, we identified 4 people who lived within easy walking distance of that rich transit hub.
Wow.
So working with the stakeholders and the property owners and Dome Business Association, we redid the zoning to make it easier to put residential structures down there. And so we're just delighted that there's about 300 units under construction now. And we see that going to easily 1,000 within 5 years.
That's impressive. So it sounds like the area will soon have several what you would call transit-oriented development projects. And is housing one of those?
Well, see, I mean, that's just really a fancy planner term for having housing next to transit.
There we go.
TOD is housing next to transit.
I love
Transit-oriented
how transparent
development.
you are. Thank you.
And then what we like to see in these buildings is active retail on the first floor.
Yes.
And so that's TOD, active retail on the first floor, as much housing as you can put above.
You know, when I drive through Proctor now with my wife, I'm going to go, oh, and look at the TOD. And I'm just going to watch the look on her face. She's going to go, what are you talking about?
It'd be better if you just said, do you like the housing?
It would be. So, Rebecca, speaking of transit, one of the biggest structures, obviously, in the Dome District is our beloved Tacoma Dome Station Transit Hub. And for those who haven't visited this location, let's paint a picture of them and tell them why it's important to this region.
Sure. So as Ian mentioned, this is really the largest transit hub in the state. We're very fortunate to have it in Pierce County. Kind of the heart of it is Freight House Square. I think we're all familiar with that, a great retail space.
And good food.
Yes, excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Also, there are some parking garages there. There are 2 parking garages. They're quite large. Together, they have 2,400 parking spots. So the whole idea is to get people there to park and then take transit and go out. There are other ways to get there too. You can be dropped off. You can bring your bike. We have what's called a bike spa, which is a secure parking area, SPA, to put your bike. So once you get there, there's a whole bunch of options for you. So you can take an Amtrak train north up to British Columbia or down into Oregon. You can catch a bus north to Seattle or to SeaTac or down to Thurston County. You can take your local bus, our Pierce Transit buses, or you can catch the Link Light Rail into downtown. And then also the Sounder station is there, the Sounder commuter rail that runs between Lakewood and Seattle. So really, there are a ton of ways. There's also a Greyhound bus. There are a ton of ways to get there. Once you get there, you can get just about anywhere.
I love that. And one thing I've noticed about the parking there, and I do love the parking, is because sometimes given what's happening at the Dome District will feel alive and full of lots of people, and then there are times when it's a quieter time, but there always seems to be enough parking. Will there be reserved spots ever available?
Yes, so there have been a couple of things going on at the Tacoma Dome parking station recently. First, we just finished a year-long renovation of that facility, and the parking structures were built in 2 phases, one in the late 90s, one right around 2000. And so they're getting a little tired, ready for a renovation.
So they need a spa.
They need a spa.
Yeah.
So we completely repainted them. It is looking really good down there. I think it's been a real facelift for it. Done a lot of work on restriping. We replaced all the lighting with LED lighting, so it's much brighter, much less expensive.
Nice.
Yeah. So that work is done. We've just finished that, and there is a proposal on the table right now that we're seeking public input on to take 200 of those 2,400 parking stalls and turn them into optional reserved parking. So,
ooh.
Yeah, the other 2,200 will.
I would do that.
Right. So, yeah, it's just a great option for people if they choose to use it. It would be $80 a month for a single occupancy vehicle. It would be $27 a month if you qualify for a low-income ORCA card. And if you're a carpool or a vanpool, it would be free. So
those are amazing rates,
yeah,
compared to Seattle rates.
Correct, yeah. So we're seeking public input on that. I mean, there's a lot of advantages to it if people choose to do it, if you have something else to do in the morning, so forth. So piercetransit.org has more about the option, and you can weigh in, and our board might vote as early as April 8th. On that.
Great, so let your voice be heard on this. So speaking of voices, PJ, I'm interested in hearing from you as an owner in the Dome District about some of these changes that we're talking about.
Yes. I think the Dome District is kind of a hidden gem.
It is.
At least when, we stumbled across an old tin can factory there, and I bought it and named it World Headquarters for all my collections. And so we've been working our way through a change of use. And one of the most exciting things is just, the fact that we're getting residents now, that we've got the Knox apartment going up. It's on 309 Puyallup Avenue. And like you said, there's going to be retail on the bottom and lots of apartments up above, 152, I think, and a view of the water and the city skylights. And it's going to be affordable. And
here we are, what a great picture. There it is.
So, yeah. And so just the more people that we can get on the street and have eyes of what's going on, and I just think it's going to be great.
I think so too. PJ, I have long looked at that area and thought this has such the potential to be almost like a bell town in Seattle. And we already have along the Esplanade kind of that movement. And I just kept hoping it would follow it around, and it sounds like it's happening. Now, you have some vision here because you've been working on getting some benches, which I think is huge. Brings people in, the grandparents sit down while the kids go play in Freight House Square, and through a grant program. So tell us about the goal of this program and how it's going.
Well, the city gives out grants to all the different business districts so they can improve their district to, and what they think they need. Our district, we wanted more places for people to be outside,
Yes.
more art. They put in a really nice mural underneath the new trestle, and it is called, the Woodcarver's Beach. And it looks like a big driftwood fort to me with all kinds of whimsical hidden things in it. And so I wrote a grant proposal to put a bench, an art bench, across the street from it so you could sit and look at it.
And look at you.
So there it is. It's in progress still.
The fruits of your labor are right there.
So it's got art tiles to pick up on our glass theme that we've got going in Tacoma, and it's engineered so you can't really skateboard across it. As you can see, it's just got 3 nice places to sit. Soon it's going to have pink and blue grass around it.
Nice.
Those are log booms that were from the Puget Sound. So they used to be chained together, big long logs, and they would hold in the logs and things that were being brought in to the TFOS to be manufactured.
That's amazing.
So, and it plays up on the
Pretty
mural.
soon we're going to see benches on stage with you.
Yes.
So Ian, last year in these last few minutes, because time goes so quickly, the Tacoma Dome went through a $30 million renovation. Now the city is looking at making that corridor along I-5 by the Dome an entertainment hub. Tell us more about that in these last few minutes.
There's just so much underutilized space a lot of the time because the surface parking lots aren't being used. And so the Community and Economic Development Department has reached out to try and find people to activate the space. They'll need to maintain the existing parking, but you can build above surface parking. So it's just a great opportunity with great visibility to the freeway and tying in with all the other activities that are going on at the Dome District.
It's perfect. So give us an update on the Tacoma Dome station in terms of the link extension to the Pierce County Regional Light Network. What's the latest on that?
Over the next 3 to 6 months, the city stakeholders, community members will be working with Sound Transit to identify the station location. That's probably the biggest issue right now.
There it is. All right.
But where should the station be? 26th Street, 25th Street? Where should the lines come in? So that's going to be the big discussion, and then we'll be working with the stakeholders to figure out how to activate the spaces around the station.
I love that. So PJ, I want you to answer this question with just one word. In 5 years, what will this Dome District look like?
Transformed.
There we go. Thank you, all 3 of you, so much for being here and all the work that you and your teams have done that leads you to the comfy couch to talk about the update here. And I want to have you back because this is ongoing. So you are our measurement for information. So mark your calendars. In about 6 months, we want to report. Go out there and enjoy that great weather.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, a little bit of musical chairs gets to happen here in the studio. And when we come back, Deb and Holly are here from the Tacoma Historical Society to talk about some of their events. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.